All right, folks, we are live following a Rams win. That feels good to say. Haven't been able to say that in a minute. And it felt good just to see the Rams play football since it felt like that hadn't happened in a minute. Last time the Rams played, of course, it was against the 49ers. I was at SoFi Stadium and they lose in overtime. This time, let's just put it this way. Winning a game 17-3 after watching this same team get crushed last week. It was like I think it was 42-14 Texans. A win is a win, guys. I see, there are a lot of people complaining on Twitter and what have you, and I understand, right? I understand you want to see more dominance. I think there was a lot of dominance in this game. I thought the defense did a really nice job when they had to, stepping up, making big plays. They had some sacks, they had some turnovers. I was really impressed with the way they were able to play at the goal line specifically. That is not easy, especially, the officiating is just going to let that tush push just go until somebody rips the ball out. And then once it's a fumble and now it's changed possessions, we're just going to blow the whistle and say it's, forward progress stopped. So, yeah. I'm going to push back on anybody that says this isn't a Super Bowl contender because it's October 12th. It's week 6. Who's really going to win the Super Bowl right now? Can you tell me if you had to put $100 down on one team to win the Super Bowl, who would you put it on? And would you feel confident? The Eagles don't look good. They haven't looked good in any of their games. The Buccaneers have had to come back and barely win a bunch of their games. The Rams should be 6-0, but they're 4-2. And their mistakes in years past, which has led them to being only, a one-win team at the start of the season. This year they find themselves at 4-2. So you can look at the negative. I personally am looking at the positive on that end. The Chiefs, they're 2-3. I mean, who else, right? The Bills just play with their food. They lost to the Patriots finally. They should have probably lost to the Saints. They just mess around. They play with their food. They don't put teams away. So who is it? The Colts barely won today against the Cardinals. Barely. Without Kyler Murray. All to be fair, Jacoby Brissett looked better than Kyler Murray. Seattle looks really good, but it's like, this is what I mean. To say that there is any team out there that would be even a Super Bowl favorite is ridiculous. Nobody is actually stepping up. I'm just telling you, that's where I'm at. The Lions, so I keep seeing the Lions. The Lions beat down bad teams, and the only good team that they played, because the Ravens were apparently a fraud, they beat the Ravens. That's their best win. They beat the Bears. They put up 52 in a run-up-the-score type of mentality. They got absolutely decimated by the Packers. That game, the score doesn't indicate how much of a dominant performance the Packers had. I don't believe the Lions are legit. So the point being here is that there's this reaction. There's this overreaction. The Broncos have been hot. I mean, they beat the Eagles, and then they barely beat the Jets 13-11. My point is, I totally understand if you want to be negative about the result. I don't get that, but I understand 17-3. You expected more. You expected more scoring. I get that. There's not a single team this point in the season that looks like the best team in the league. I believe when it's all said and done that the Rams are going to be the best team in the league. They will be the last team standing. They will win the Super Bowl. But I think the problem is these stupid mistakes. These drop passes earlier in the game. You could say what you will. The wind, the rain, fine, whatever. They still need to catch them. Jordan Whittington has to catch footballs, right? Devontae Adams has to catch the football. 9 targets, 4 catches for 39. I think he dropped 3 passes today. Has to catch the football. Right? I mean, just we got to be honest with ourselves. So, yeah, it's the drop passes were bad, the stupid mistakes, the encroachment penalties. What was that? Why are you letting Cooper Rush hard count you? So yeah, it's I don't know. But I'll say this. I give a lot of credit to the Rams for hanging in there. This game, it was funky. We've seen these type of games. Stafford loses a fumble, the goal line. I mean, like, the Ravens played hard. They did. They absolutely did. But yeah, I mean, let's just kind of going through it. The Rams start this thing off by missing a field goal. Goes off the uprights. The thing that I hated about that is because the Ravens drive was really just Derrick Henry. I think Cooper Rush completed one pass to Bateman. Nope, that's wrong. He completed two to Bateman and Flowers. They end up holding him to a 37-yard field goal. That's the only points of the game, the first possession on the scripted drive. That Rams drive went 4 yards longer, was way more efficient, didn't take up as much time off the clock, and one fewer play. But it was so excellent the way they controlled it. You know, you go to Whittington to start off the game. You got Kyron. You got Adams. You got Kyron again. Then you got Adams, right? You already see Higbee's getting involved early on. I loved that drive. I loved how they use shotgun. I loved how they use play action. I love how, Terrence Ferguson is in on the first drive. Loved that drive. I hated that it ended with a 26-yard field goal, regardless if it was good or not. I hated that it ended in a field goal. It was no good. Then, right after that, Cooper Rush throws an interception to Quentin Lake. He had a huge game. Then after that, the Rams, literally the play after, Coleman Shelton has the worst rep you've seen all season, gets absolutely destroyed, pushed into Stafford. Stafford, who never fumbles the ball, and they recover. Then the Ravens, who take over, and they're already at the Rams 41, they run it with Henry. And they're already feeling it. There's a illegal low block on Linderbaum, backs him up. They still are able to run down the field, all that. They end up holding him to 4th and 3. The Ravens decide to be aggressive in this game, looking like a 1-4 desperate team that could end up firing John Harbaugh, which I believe they will. Cooper Rush can't get it to Zay Flowers. Great rush to get there. 4th and 3, incomplete. Rams take over. Then the Rams' next drive, you got Corum, you got Whittington, you got Nacua, you got Adams, you got Corum for 12, you got Allen, all these guys they're using, right? Unfortunately, they end up having that Puka Nacua injury. And then Stafford misses Devontae Adams Adams just absolutely just dices up the coverage. He's wide open. Stafford misses him. He still needs to catch the football, but it's thrown a little high. And then Cardi kicks the field goal. Really ugly, by the way. So that's 3-3. Rams defense then forces a punt. Then the Rams go 3 and out. That was frustrating. This is the point in the game where the Rams go 3 and out. They punt the ball, and then Troy Reeder, who isn't going to get any credit now because he forced the fumble and it doesn't count. Troy Reeder forces a fumble, punches the ball out. Davis Allen recovers, and then there's a penalty on Sean Dolak, illegal downfield kick, 5-yard penalty, re-kick. Now, the flag I did see after the fact did come out not long after the punt, but the problem here is that when what is that called? It's like never called. So that sucked. Rams, they can't catch a break when it comes to those turnovers that they force. But anyway, they punt it. Then the Ravens go down the field and they're driving, and this is like, how is this happening? You just got a fumble that got called back, and now they're in the Rams territory. They get it down to the 1-yard line. And the Rams defense, this is when the defense, I thought, just really showed who they are. I was really impressed with this because when your back is against the wall, are you really a bend don't break defense, or are you about to break? Derrick Henry, 3 yards. 2nd and goal at the 1. Direct snap to Mark Andrews. No gain. Direct snap to Mark Andrews. No gain. Now, it was not Derrick Henry, it was Mark Andrews, so I apologize if you saw on Twitter. But Mark Andrews had that ball ripped out by Jared Verse. We got to be honest with ourselves. Jared Verse ripped that football out. The whistle was never blown, and then when the ball was out and he recovered, they blew the whistle. There's a real issue with this tush-push play because it can't be officiated for whatever reason. Do you have incompetent refs? Obviously, we know that. But for whatever reason, it can't be officiated. It's not fair. The offense benefits by using it. You can't have a play that only the offense can benefit from. There's no risk on the tush push. If you fumble, they blow the whistle. It's not a fumble. It's just, forward progress was stopped. We forgot to blow the whistle. That can't happen. So I'm hoping Sean McVay, who's part of the rules committee and all of that, he gets involved, the competition committee. I hope he gets involved and starts pointing this out because this is ridiculous. It screwed him last week against the 49ers, the forward progress BS. It screwed him this week. It screwed him against the Eagles on the tush push. Jalen Hurts, whistle's never blown. Jalen Hurts is just on top of the pile. Jared Verse, just like this one, Jared Verse rips it out, gets the ball, and now that's not a fumble because, his forward progress, his progress was stopped. I'm so sick of that. It just keeps going against him. So anyway, really, really frustrating there. But the point being, Derrick Henry took the carry, 4th and goal at the 1, gets stifled. And now this Rams defense just had a goal line stand where they stood tall for 4 straight plays. That is hard to do in the National Football League. Hats off to them. End the half the right way. You kneel it down. You don't give up the points. It's 3-3 now. Rams come out. Really great drive. 3 minutes, 9 plays, 76 yards. You got a deep throw to Adams for 21. You got the throw to Allen. You go deep to Adams. It doesn't work out. You end up going on 3rd and 3. Kanate Mumpfield makes his first reception of his NFL career, and he takes the bubble screen for 7. Then you run with Kyren Williams. I thought he ran really well. I know his yards per carry average is 3.8, but I thought he looked really good today. You run it again with Kyren. Then, you have Higbee get involved in this. You try to go to Mumpfield again. Then you have a deep ball to Kyren. On 4th and 2, you go for it. And this is where 2 players have to make plays that are just way better, right? Way better than the average. So wins above replacement. I hate wins above replacement. I hate it. I hate it in baseball. I hate it in football. But if you want to know what wins above replacement is, it's this right here. Okay? How many times on that 4th and 2, you got all day to throw, no one's getting open, now you're running out of time, you're Stafford, you have to make a play. I want to ask you, how many quarterbacks in this league are making that play? How many? Say what you will, but I don't think too many are. So that's a huge play in and of itself to turn that, play backyard football and turn that into something. Then Kyren Williams, a running back, is making a fadeaway catch. So how many running backs are going to make that play and catch that football? Falling back against his body. That to me was insane. I feel like that's the play of the game. That ultimately saved the game. They run Kyren in untouched for the touchdown. It's a 10-3 ball game. And while things were frustrating and it was ugly, the Rams had control from here on out. They really had control. After the goal line stop, even though it's only 3-3, it really just feels like the Rams kind of took the lead on that play. But you really saw it coming out of the half. So great job by Sean McVay drawing up this drive. And the 30-yard catch by Kyren Williams, 30-yard pass from Matthew Stafford. Incredible stuff. Absolutely incredible. And this is where why I defend Kyren Williams. He's not a Jag. A lot of people want to act like he's just a guy. Find me 10 running backs that can make that catch. If you can find me at least 10, I'd agree with you. But I don't think you can. I think you could find me 5. I think maybe Saquon can make that catch. I think Devon A-Chain could probably make that catch. Christian McCaffrey, right? There's some out there, but not all of them can make that catch. That is not easy to do. Kyren is really a top 10 running back. He doesn't get enough credit. He continues to show you how good he truly is. Then after that, you have the fumble. Zay Flowers has it punched out. He catches a 10-yard ball. He has it punched out. So Verse is getting credit for it, but it's actually Nate Landman who punches this thing out. Verse has him. Landman goes in. You see the punch. He's been incredible. We'll get into all that. Trust me, I'm going to go deeper into this. But Landman, what an acquisition. Then you have the recovery by Lake. So he had the pick, and then he had the fumble recovery. He had himself a day. Really impressed by Lake. Was tackled by former Ram Joseph Noteboom. Then the Rams get a touchdown, and it's looking like, oh man, they're going to this is going to be an absolute blowout. Now it's 17-3. You got the 13-yard pass to Whittington, and then, of course, you have the touchdown to Tyler Higbee, and then you have another fumble. And Cooper Rush is going to fumble this play at the end of this drive. This is a long drive. Really good response from the Ravens. 13-play, 49-yard drive, about 7 minutes of the clock. Long drive trying to tire out the defense. And then you fumble the ball. You fumble the ball, and it's not Cooper Rush. It was Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers drops the ball, and Ty Davis recovers. So now the Rams have it. They're going to have it to start the fourth quarter. Or going into the fourth quarter. And this drive was really good. And then, unfortunately, it ends at the 6-yard line of Baltimore. And we keep seeing this. This red zone offense just quite isn't where we want it to be. This drive was really nice. You get a Higbee involved, right? You get Kyren running for 13, Kyren running for 5. Then you get, Devontae Adams. You're going deep to him. You get a 30-yard penalty. I don't know if I entirely agreed with it. But I thought Adams did a nice job of selling it on Nate Wiggins. He's just a savvy veteran move. It gets you down to 1st and 10, Baltimore 13. You run it with Kyren, you get 4. Whittington, he gets hit with the holding penalty. Now it's 1st and 20. Then you put in Blake Corum. He does a really nice job to get 9 yards on that. Then after that, you got a neutral zone infraction. So now it's a 2nd and 6 after the hard count from Matthew Stafford. And, you have Stafford run. There's nobody open, or so I thought. I actually would say Terrence Ferguson could have been open on that play. So then you end up getting the 3rd and 3. Terrence Ferguson, the rookie, takes an end around. I know he wore 18 and he wears 18, but that's not Cooper Kupp out there. Ferguson has build-up speed. I don't think he is incredibly explosive. I didn't like the call. It also wasn't blocked well. And then 4th and 3, Stafford takes a sack. I don't know if you guys noticed. He ducked his head. He does this trying to, kind of eliminate, 1, how hard he's going to get hit. 2, protect the football because you don't want it to be a punch out and then have him run it back for 6. You're up 17-3. Maybe some people are saying they should have kicked the field goal. Maybe you're right. I agreed with going for it. Didn't love the play calling. I will just say this. Matthew Stafford, if he doesn't duck his head, is able to see a wide open Devontae Adams over the middle. I just think he kind of ducked, gave up it a little bit, and, that was that. But then you have the turnover on downs. The Ravens have the ball, 17-play drive, 74 yards. They go almost 10 minutes, and this is when Snoop Huntley comes in. I'll tell you right now, if Tyler Huntley played the game, this is exactly what I said would happen. They're going to go with Cooper Rush. We're going to see Tyler Huntley in the second half. Tyler Huntley should have started this game. Now, I understand why he didn't. We saw why he didn't. Tyler Huntley holds on to the ball a lot longer than Cooper Rush. And that was the name of the game. The Ravens were trying to get rid of the ball quickly. They knew this Rams pass rush was going to be a problem. They were trying to get rid of the ball quickly. Tyler Huntley does not get rid of the ball quickly. He's a good backup quarterback. He is a spot starter. He's somebody that can be dynamic with the legs. But their game plan was, if we get rid of the ball quickly, we can do what the 49ers did with Mac Jones. You can't do that with Tyler Huntley. I still think they should have started him. That's just my opinion. But that last drive there, the turnover on downs, you had 17-play drive. Henry's running well. Then Huntley runs for 12. They get Zay Flowers going again. They didn't pull him out of the game. Obviously, he's too important. You have the Hopkins, catch for the first down. Kobe Durant gets penalized. I thought it was good coverage. I didn't mind the flag, but I thought it was good coverage. Then you have the fumble recovery. So Huntley passes to Likely, and then he fumbles the ball. So they're going to give Emmanuel Forbes the punch out. It's cool that he gets a forced fumble, but I got to be honest with you guys. I don't know how on earth they gave Isaiah Likely a fumble on that play. I thought that was just an incomplete pass. Anyway, ends up being a 3rd and 9 because false starts. Then you have the 3rd and 14, and they pass 2 yards to Justice Hill. And now on 4th and 12, this is the play where I don't know if this was poor execution or it was poor play calling or poor play design or all three. But on 4th and 12, when you have Tyler Huntley sitting there in the pocket and you drop 2 guys, because they're showing blitz. They're showing all-out blitz. Didn't buy it for a second. I said during the broadcast, I'm like, okay, so here's what's going to happen. They're going to drop into coverage. So we see Byron Young drop into coverage, and we see Josiah Stewart. Here's the problem. Very big problem here with the way this play is called. And obviously I can go over this on all 22 when I have it. You'll find that in this play, Byron Young and Josiah Stewart drop into the same zone. So there's nobody in the middle. And Tyler Huntley is back there, has all day to throw because, essentially the blitz doesn't get there. It wasn't an all-out blitz, and there wasn't any pressure up the middle like they were hoping. So Huntley runs through as the C's part, and now because you have 2 guys dropping into the same zone, again, I don't know. I would like to assume that this was just the rookies out there. There's a chance that this was just poor execution. But goodness gracious, man, you can't have the C's part for Tyler Huntley. So he ends up running for 19 to the LA 32 on a 4th and 12. These are mistakes that, it's a 17-3 ball game, and obviously that was frustrating in this game. It could be, worse in other games. But if you do them in 17-3 ball games, you can do them in 10-10 ball games or 20-20 or 23-21. Like, that's my concern. So they need to be better about that. They need to clean that up. Then Huntley got sacked by Jared Verse. Finally, Verse missed a sack earlier in the game that killed me. Then they get it to they get it to Flowers. They move down the field, and then the Rams are able to stop him. Incomplete pass to Bateman. Huntley was sacked by Murchison on the free runner. It was good to see Murchison get involved there. And then that was pretty much it. After that, the Rams, they end up getting a first down, and then they end up punting, so they didn't put the game away there. So it's only 17-3, so what's going to happen? Tyler Huntley gets sacked once by Byron Young, twice by Byron Young, almost sacked back-to-back-to-back. Not just, back-to-back-to-back drives. Like, he almost got sacked back-to-back-to-back plays by Byron Young. So huge 2 sacks there for Byron Young. And then Huntley ends up, then nothing comes of that. Rams win. So what I want to say is this. Because that was just the play-by-play, kind of drive-by-drive. Puka Nacua going down very much changed this offense. I want to make it clear, one, and I already said this in the breakdown of the Ravens, This is not the same Ravens team that the Texans just plastered, okay? The Ravens actually got Marlon Humphrey back. They actually got Kyle Hamilton back. They went out and they got Alohi Gilman. They fixed their secondary. Even still, folks, the Rams were able to throw all over this secondary. So what happened? Drops. Stafford ends up with only 181 yards and a touchdown. It's because Devontae Adams dropped 3 passes. It's because there were drops. Jordan Whittington drops a first down on 3rd down. That's the problem. So, it doesn't end up being what it should have been, but I was still impressed with what I saw. The offense can still move the ball. It's the red zone stuff that they need to work on. So I thought Stafford looked really good. I disagreed with the broadcast. Brady was saying, his throws are just a little bit off. I disagree. I think his throws were there. I think there were drops. There shouldn't have been any excuses there. Guys have to haul that in. Whittington absolutely has to make those plays. I think he had 2 drops in this one. Devontae had 3. Very uncharacteristic of Devontae. Kyron looked great in the passing game. Keep that going. Higbee looked great in the passing game. It makes me wonder if he was also banged up, like with Havenstein, played through it, and then they finally were like, all right, let's just give you the week off, and then let's see what we can do. Higbee looked the best he's looked all year. 4 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown. That's good. Those are good numbers for a tight end. Again, shout out to Konate Mumfield for having his first catch of his NFL career be a first down as well. Terrence Ferguson, I like that he was out there. They got to get him in the passing game. The carry, I see what they're trying to do. I didn't like it really, but yeah, I thought all in all, the offense left a lot of points on the board, to be fair. The defense gets a lot of credit from me. People can say, well, they gave up this and this and this, and Derrick Henry ran for 122 yards and 24 carries. Yeah, Derrick Henry's a handful. You're playing a desperate 1-4 team at home. This is literally last licks for the Ravens, or at least it has to feel that way in some capacity. Derrick Henry knew he was putting the team on his back. Also, no Omar Speights. So you're licking your chops if you're Derrick Henry. And I think he took advantage of that. But that said, defense really impressed. Okay. Zay Flowers creates so much separation. He's one of the best receivers in the league, and he never fumbles the ball. He fumbled it twice in this game. 6 catches, 46 yards. Okay. He was targeted 10 times. The corners deserve a ton of credit. I thought Kobe Durant looked good. I thought Darius Williams was outstanding. I thought Emmanuel Forbes had some good moments. I thought Quentin Lake looked great. I thought Cameron Curl, Cameron Kinchins, Jalen McCullough, the whole secondary balled out. They were great. But if I was going to give a game ball to one player on the defense, Nate Landman, without a freaking doubt, gets my game ball. Nate Landman had 17 tackles in this game, guys. 17. So I got to see, what are the most single game Rams tackles? Nate Landman has the most tackles in Rams history in one game. He broke a record today. He had 17 tackles and he punched a ball out. And he looked good in coverage. Landman does not get enough credit. So the original record was held by like 4 different guys. It was tied. It was James Laurinaitis in 2009 against the Cardinals, Alec Ogletree 2015 against the Commanders, Mark Barron 2015 against the Browns, and Keith Lyle in 1995 against the Saints. So really impressed. Nate Landman, have yourself a day, my friend. What a game. 8 of those were solo. The next was Byron Young with 8, which, by the way, Byron Young having 8 tackles is nuts. He had 5 quarterback hits. He had 2 tackles for loss. He had 2 sacks. He looked great. But I gave my game ball to Nate Landman. Sean Dolak. Y'all, if you've been watching, I've been singing this guy's praises since the draft, before the draft. I wanted him to be drafted by the Rams. I had him in my mock drafts. Sean Dolak is a baller. He plays like his hair's on fire. He's always around the football. Remember I said he has a nose for the football? It's kind of like Matt Milano with the Bills. Sean Dolak is a baller, y'all. 7 tackles, 6 of which were solo, and a TFL. I mean, they had 11 quarterback hits today. They had a quarterback hit from Larry Murchison, obviously, with the sack. They had 4 from Verse. They had 5 from Young. They had 1 from Landman. Dolak was balling out. See, that's the thing. I thought, really, this is a well... By the way, Ethan Evans had a tackle, saved a touchdown. Love that. But I thought everybody balled out on the defense. This is a very defensive bounce-back game that they needed. I don't care who they went up against. I don't care Lamar Jackson didn't play. They needed this. Landman sets the franchise record. Franchise. I am so going to get mean for that. Landman sets the franchise record for 17 tackles in a game. No one's ever had more as a Ram. Byron Young gets 2 sacks. And before that, he had already had 3 quarterback hits. He looked great today. Sean Dolak was split in time with Troy Reeder, looked great today. TFL, 7, 6 solo tackles. Jared Verse, 6 tackles, 3 of them solo, a sack, 2 TFLs, 4 quarterback hits. Ty Davis had a fumble recovery. He looked good today. Quentin Lake had a scoop. He also had an interception. He looked really good today. Cam Curl looked good. Cam Kinchins looked good. Poona Ford was really good. Key and critical in the run game. Forced a TFL. Darius Williams was outstanding. 2 pass breakups today. Troy Reeder made a huge play on special teams. I understand it got called back, but that was a forced fumble by Troy Reeder. Troy Reeder continues to ball out on special teams. He had the BS holding call that wiped away a 74-yarder for Whittington, and I think a lot of people got on him, for that. But I think Troy Reeder is an absolute baller on special teams. And I didn't think he was bad on defense. He had a nice pass breakup as well. I don't know if they gave it. They did give it to him. He had a nice pass breakup on Mark Andrews. So I thought you saw some really good things from Reeder and Dolak. I'd say Dolak had the better game, but Reeder looked good. Josiah Stewart had some really key moments. Great rep in the run game. Should have been given a TFL, and he didn't get it for whatever reason, but he did tackle Henry behind the line. Jalen McCullough had a good game. Nick Hampton came in. I thought he had some good moments. Larry Murchison gets the free runner sack. We love that for him. Kobe Turner, I would just like to see him be a little bit more disciplined. I never have to worry about that, but him jumping off sides there, that forced a first down. Kobe Turner, but Steve Avila, having him back at left guard, it was noticeable. I thought Matthew Stafford had more time today to throw. And again, going back to Kobe Durant, Manuel Forbes, I thought those guys played well. Ethan Evans looks like the best punter in the league. There is a lot to like, okay? But there's also some things to work on. The silly mistakes, the stupid mistakes, the careless mistakes, these have to stop. This game shouldn't ever have been close. Never. It shouldn't have been close. But it was. And it was close because the Rams kept shooting themselves in the foot. Fumble, right? Drop passes, turnover on downs, missed field goal. It's just not acceptable. Has to be cleaned up. We just saw the Broncos win the ugliest game you'll ever see. 13-11. That has to be a scoregami. I'm going to look it up. That has to be a scoregami. If it's not, I'm going to be shocked. I'm going to be absolutely shocked if that's not a scoregami. 13-11. Let's see. And survey says what? It's not. But it had so that actually that score hasn't happened since 1986. That Broncos and Jets game in London is exactly what I'm talking about. The Rams, think about this. The Rams this year, as opposed to the other 2 years, the last two, They've gotten off to bad starts. This year, they're 4-2. They're exactly where I had them at this point in the season, before the season started. Their offense isn't as potent. They're not scoring as many points. But this is quite literally what I expected the Rams record to be going into this Jaguars game, 4-2. That said, they're making the same mistakes that last year's teams made and the team before that made. The difference is they're better. That's why they're 4-2 instead of 2-4 or 1-5 or 3-3. That's the difference. That is the difference, folks. So my thing is, we can sit here, we can complain. The Rams only scored 14 points in the third quarter. They scored none in the first. They scored none in the fourth. They only scored 3 in the second. But the reality is that this team's 4-2. Doesn't matter how you win them. Just matters that you do win them. And they're set up for the London trip where now if they're able to take down the Jaguars, they're 5-2 coming out of the bye to play the Saints at SoFi. They're in good shape as far as I'm concerned. They're learning early on. They've had to go through the ringer. The Eagles and 49ers games, they've had to go through the ringer. They've had 3 turnovers called back due to that awful officiating blunder that is forward progress. They've had 3. The Jalen Hurts tush push, week 3. Week 5, the 49ers, Sean Dolek ripping the ball out. And week 6, this one, Jared Verse ripping the ball out on Mark Andrews. 3 turnovers that just they didn't get because of forward progress going against them. Funny how that works. So Sean McVay said Puka Nacua has an ankle injury, and he is uncertain if he will be able to play next week against the Jaguars in London. Me personally, I don't play Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua is so vital. The way you have to look at it, right? The way you have to look at it is this. Nakua's so vital to this team. He's no different than what Cooper Kupp was in the Super Bowl season. Do you think for a second the Rams win the Super Bowl with Cooper Kupp, who had the Triple Crown, who had the greatest receiving season of all time when you combine the postseason? Do you think the Rams win the Super Bowl without him? Because I don't. I don't. So yeah. It's kind of a big deal, guys. It's a huge deal. You might lose the Jaguars game by not having Nacua. It's certainly possible. But you might also get him hurt. If he gets hurt again, it might be out for the year. You can't have that. You have to be smart with Nacua. I do not chance anything. I don't chance anything at all. So that's kind of where I'm at on that one. That's where I'm at on that one. But right now, the Seahawks won. The Cardinals won, the Cardinals lost. So now the NFC West is a 4-1 team currently losing 7-3 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Seattle is 4-2. The Rams are 4-2. And the Cardinals are 2-4. Arizona is going to be playing the Packers next. So it doesn't get any easier for them. As a matter of fact, Arizona has a damn gauntlet. Arizona is not making the playoffs. There's zero chance this team is making the playoffs. They're not a threat. They needed to win today. They needed to beat the Titans. Arizona has the Packers, the Cowboys, the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Jaguars, the Bucks, the Rams, the Texans, the Falcons, the Bengals, the Rams. Who is a win on that schedule? Just the Bengals? Will Joe Burrow be back by the time it's week 17? The Falcons, maybe? I mean, that's 2 games. The Texans game in Houston isn't going to be easy. So the point being is right now, Arizona, they are not in contention. Then you have Seattle. They're 4-2. I think Seattle's proven to be a really good football team, which I'm not surprised. I had them coming in second in the NFC West. Seattle has the Texans, the Commanders, the Cardinals, the Rams, the Titans, the Vikings, the Falcons, the Colts, the Rams, and the Panthers and 49ers. Truthfully speaking, Seattle's road isn't easy, but Seattle can win all of those games. They're capable of winning every single one of those games. Then you look at the Rams schedule. And the Rams schedule, they play the Jaguars 9:30 a.m. That means you guys are going to have to get up at 6:30. That's insane. You guys are going to have to get up and watch Rams football at 6:30 a.m. I didn't even put that together. I didn't even realize that. 6:30 a.m. your time. Rams time, if you're on the West Coast. That is insane. Well, hopefully you'll be here bright and early. It'll be the earliest JE Live in history of our channel. And I've had over 2,000 videos, probably closer to 3,000 videos. That is going to be crazy. That is going to be absolutely crazy. I can't wait. I can't wait. I think it'll be fun. And we'll go live your time. I mean, we'll be going live at like 10, I would say. No, not 10. Yeah. So this game will be over by like noon-ish. So we'll say like 12:30. So I'll be going live at, it'll be 9:30 your time. So there you go. But yes, they have the Jaguars. They have the Saints, the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Bucks, the Panthers, the Cardinals, the Lions, the Seahawks, the Falcons, the Cardinals. Now, the Rams can beat anybody. The way I see the rest of their season going is simple. They already lost the Eagles. They lost to the 49ers. I had them losing 2 of the first 6 games. I had them losing to the Eagles, and I had them losing to the Ravens. I had them beating the 49ers, but losing the 49ers in Santa Clara. I believe they're going to beat the Jaguars, go into the bye, come out of the bye, beat the Saints, beat the 49ers, beat Seattle, beat the Bucks. I kind of feel like they're going to drop a game to the Panthers, and they'll drop a game to Seattle. And that's their season, 13-4. That Panthers game, y'all love using trap game, right? Y'all love saying trap game. I see it all the time. I don't believe in trap games, but I'll tell you right now, it is hard to beat Carolina in Carolina. It is hard. So, it's not easy. I think they lose in Seattle, and I think they lose in Carolina currently. I think 13-4. I can understand 12-5. Panthers are 3-0 in Carolina. They blew out the Falcons. They just beat Dallas. They got the offense where if the Rams can't, well, they'll have their offense by then, but I don't know. It is November after all. We all know the Rams had an issue in November a while back. But no, I just have a weird feeling about that game. I don't know. Can't wait for the Lions game. I'll be there. Can't wait for the 49ers game. I'll be there. But yeah, right now, in case anybody's wondering what this looks like, it is kind of pointless. It's only 6 weeks in. But the Rams are in the playoffs. If the season ended today, they would have the 6th seed. they would be playing the Lions in Detroit. Isn't that funny? 49ers and Bucks are currently playing, so we'll see how that goes. But currently, if the season ended today, the 49ers would have the 1 seed, the Bucks would have the 2, the Lions would have the 3, the Eagles would have the 4, Seahawks 5, Rams 6, and Packers 7. Rams would play the Lions, the Bucks would play the Packers, and the Eagles would play the Seahawks. Honestly, aside from the 49ers, most of that looks like what you could have predicted before the season. So, yeah. Interesting. But, all right. We got that out of the way. Let's see here. We got some supers. I'm going to read those. Matthew, member for 48 months. Appreciate you. It needs to be said Derrick Henry is still a handful to stop, and the Ravens played like they had nothing to lose and pissed off. It's true. It's true. They had a shot. They went uber aggressive, and man, that is something. Appreciate you. And S, thank you for the 5. Win is a win, Jake, but to be honest, McVay needs to give up play calling in the red zone. Also, this team's got to understand there are 2 halves in the game. Yeah. I mean, I've already kind of just made my piece. Like, I know Sean McVay isn't going to give up the play calling. When I say he should, it's just me being frustrated. I know he's not going to do it. But I do think LaFleur should probably be calling plays at this point. So that's kind of like where I stand. Zaylor, thank you for the 5. I'll take a win. We need our special teams step up. Happy Puka is okay. Adams needs to be better. Cardi in the doghouse. Higbee showed up today. I appreciate it. Yeah, so here's my deal on Cardi. So Josh Cardi, because I'm not a big fan of overreactions, knee-jerk reactions, and what have you. As you guys know, I liked Maher. Everybody wanted Maher gone. Then they complained when they got rid of Maher that they couldn't hit field goals, whatever. Josh Cardi hit 1 of 2 today. The one that he hit was absolutely atrocious. But Josh Cardi last year, okay, he went, I'm not even kidding you when I say this, he went 33 of 38 his rookie year, including the postseason. He put together 136 points of offense. So remember that. He was fantastic last year. 2025, he didn't kick a field goal against the Texans. He has 2 extra points. He puts up 2 points. Then he puts up 9 against the Titans. The extra point, I think it was blocked. It was blocked by the Titans. So the extra point gets blocked. He puts up 9 points. He puts up 14 against the Eagles. He kicks 6 field goals. He makes 4 of them. And the 2 he misses, both of them get blocked. So he didn't even miss a field goal to this point. As a matter of fact, he hadn't missed a field goal since the Dolphins game last year. Then the Colts game, doesn't miss a field goal, goes 3 for 3, extra points, 2 for 2 field goals, 9 points. And then the 49er game, he misses a field goal and 1 gets blocked. So I think the extra point was blocked and the field goal he missed. So that's the first one he missed since I think he made like 28 straight where like it wasn't like a blocked kick, like he just missed it. So that's that. And then today, of course, he missed the field goal, went off the uprights. The wind looked insane, but I couldn't tell if that was the wind or just the way he kicked it. You guys want another kicker competition? You guys want another kicker controversy? Fine. I am not done with the Cardi experience. Not even in the slightest. I don't care. I don't care if his confidence is gone. Figure it out. You guys can't just keep recycling kickers. I'm telling you that. Well, no. I mean, the reality is I just don't like to make crazy, last minute decisions based on emotion. And people I respect everybody, but the people that are saying Cardi sucks and they want him gone, they're just not speaking in just reality. They're not speaking in logic. They're speaking from a place of emotion. They're speaking from frustration. Josh Cardi is fine. You want to keep recycling kickers? Haversick just got picked up by the Packers. We'll see how he does today. But I'm over that. They have their kicker. Cardi is damn good. And Kyle, you're acting like Cardi didn't just hit like 37 straight field goals. He hit like 28 straight, but 37 field goals he's hit, not even, a year and 5 games? No, there's no one on the couch you can get that's better than Josh Cardi. This is what I'm telling you guys. You can't just be so quick to be like pitchforks and torches and send the kid away. And by the way, if you think he has a confidence issue, the last thing you should be doing is calling for his head. Think about that. If you're like, oh yeah, it's a confidence thing, he's just not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all my, Facebook and Twitter and all of that, and I'm going to make posts about why this guy should be fired from his job, because that'll help the confidence. It is way too quick. Way too quick. Josh Cardi gets way too much blame. It's a cop-out. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. Okay, all right, let's do this. So up until the Eagles game, which, by the way, let's actually do this. Josh Cardi, I'm going to calculate this right now to show you how absolutely insane it is to overreact and say Josh Cardi should lose his job. Respectfully, of course, because I appreciate you guys being in here. But it is absolutely insane to say this guy should lose his job. And here's why. So the Eagles game, 2 of them were blocked. That wasn't his fault. If you want to say his trajectory was low, I would normally agree with you. But here's the problem. You don't get that excuse when your entire offensive line or the kicking unit, the protection unit, gets pushed back into your lap, which is what happened, at least on the left side. So, Cardi just missed his first field goal against the 49ers without it getting blocked, okay? That's the first field goal he missed. All right, so we're going to do that. Now, think about this. You're going to count all the field goals after that. So, he made 2 against the Colts. He made 4 against the Eagles because we're not counting the 2 that were blocked, nor should we. So that's 6. He made 2 against the Titans. That's 8. Okay, so we're at 8 straight now. Now let's go back to the playoffs. Against Philly, that's 10. Against the Vikings, that's 12. Against the Seahawks, that's 16. Cardinals, 18. Jets, 20. 49ers, 24. Bills, 25. He missed one against the Eagles. So he made 25 straight field goals without a miss, without a block or a miss. 25 straight. And now here we are wanting to get rid of him because he just missed 2 in back-to-back games. Are we kidding ourselves? Dude, come on. We have to be a better fan base than that. We can't be that fan base. That's just absolutely ridiculous to call for this kid's job. Ridiculous. I understand being upset. I get it. But respectfully, it is absolutely ridiculous to call for this kid's job. He is not the problem. Am I a little concerned about some of those kicks today? Sure. The conditions were terrible, though. Let's be honest with ourselves. The conditions were terrible. So, yeah, I don't know. Well, no, I mean, if you performed at your job like Cardi did last year, or Cardi did up until week 5, you would be up for a promotion or you would already have it. So, yeah. Yes, you ride it out. So, like, here's the problem with absolutes, right? If Josh Cardi, you just asked if he misses next week, do we keep him? Where's the context? If he misses next week on an 18-yard field goal, you still keep him, but it's sure a lot different than if he misses a 63-yarder. That's why absolutes are a problem. But what was the other one? But the what if game, like, what does that do for us? You know what I mean? By playing that, what does that do? The hope is that he's not going to miss. But you still miss field goals. Kickers are allowed to miss field goals. They're allowed to miss field goals. His field goal percentage this year is 75%. He's had 3 blocked. I mean, it's misleading because of the blocked kicks, which isn't on him. Yeah. So, I mean, that's I don't know. That's where I am on that. I don't like the absolutes, but I respect all your opinions, guys. I'm just telling you, and I'm going to be vocal. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be unapologetically Jake, like I always am. Calling for Josh Cardi's job literally doesn't solve a damn thing, and it's just not based in logic. It's just not. Who do you want to get that's out there? There's nobody out there. There's nobody out there a fraction as good as Josh Cardi. No chance. It's Zaylor. Thank you for the 5. I'll take a win. We need our special teams unit to step up. Happy Puka is okay. Adams needs to be better. Cardi. Oh, I just read this. I don't know. That's what led to my Cardi rant. I appreciate it. Retro Smetro victory shades. Yes. Even though the prescription's off and I need to get new shades anyway. Yes. Yeah, I see you. So thank you, Retro. Tommy, thank you for the 5. I think we need to replace Chase Blackburn. The special teams have been a disgrace, and without special teams, we won't win a Super Bowl. I think this is fair. I am hoping Blackburn figures it out, but this might actually have to happen. I don't know. It's worth mentioning that the Rams, in terms of PFF, their special teams unit is 30th, tied for the second worst with the Packers. So that's interesting. So yeah, I don't know how long that'll go on, but if he doesn't turn it around, yeah, I could see them parting ways. At least after the season, I could see it. Man of Paradox, thank you for the 20. Too many negative comments. Ravens backed against the wall, which makes them a dangerous team. Rams pulled together for a total team victory. All the gloomy MFers should celebrate this win and celebrate Jake's birthday. Hey, appreciate that. Yeah, let's celebrate my birthday. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, my birthday was yesterday. I appreciate it. Had a lot of fun. Definitely glad they got the win. The Rams improved to 5-2 when playing in the week of my birthday under Sean McVay. Before that, they were 4-9 going back, I don't know, to 2004. So, yeah. John Reese, thank you for the 2. Our guys need to start beating teams severely. There's so many different ways that you could read that, but I get what you're saying. I think they're going to blow teams out at some point. Maybe later on in the year, but offense isn't quite as in tune as it should be, and I think it'll get to that point. We'll see. Appreciate it, John. HAV, how we doing? If the Rams aren't elite, somebody tell me who is in this league. Super Bowl LX, let's go. That's where I'm at. You know? That's where I'm at. People keep telling me how this team isn't a Super Bowl team, but they can't tell me one team that is. I keep seeing Lions. They're number one in the power rankings. What have the Lions done to deserve that? What have they done? They've blown out bad teams. They played a Joe Burrow-less Bengals team. Why are we like the Lions are the greatest thing since sliced bread? Because they score a lot of points? Congratulations, college football. Like, what? A win is a win. Guess what? This win, 17-3, means the same as the Lions' 52-21 win. The exact same. They both count the same. So, JU, thank you for the 5. Cardi has to go. Enough is enough. I already said my piece on this. I appreciate the super chat, so I don't want to like roast you or rip you because obviously I appreciate the super chat. Cardi absolutely does not have to go. Cardi's not the issue. I think he's very good at what he does. I think he's just hitting kind of a rougher patch because, well, you kind of lose your confidence when the guys up front can't protect for you. And I think that's happening. And I also think there's some merit to what Pat McAfee was saying about the knuckleball kick. So we'll see. But no, he doesn't need to go. Absolutely disagree, but respectfully. And I appreciate that. Christopher, my good friend that I'll be seeing soon. Thank you for the 20. Good win. Dolak did great. Like going for it on fourth, given the kicking game. On that note, is it time to bring in another kicker to put pressure on Josh? See, this is a little different. Putting pressure on him, adding another kicker is different than outright getting rid of him. I would still say neither are the answer, and here's why. I don't believe Josh Carty needs more pressure. I think he's got a lot of pressure. I think Josh Carty needs to just keep doing what he's doing, and it's going to work itself out. The bye's coming up soon. There's no need to get rid of him. There's no need to replace him. There's no need to add somebody. I think wasting a roster spot for another kicker to put pressure on a kicker that already has pressure when that could be used on another corner or another linebacker or just more depth, I think that's the thing. The Rams might have to look at wide receiver too, because that's the thing. Like, if they feel like Jordan Whittington isn't ready, and Tutu Atwell's dealing with a hamstring, and if this ends up being an issue, and Puka Nacua's injury is an issue, I mean, they could be going out and getting Odell Beckham Jr. and bringing him back. I'm not kidding. I mean, it could get to that point where it's like, yeah, we're not really in position, So I wouldn't rule out an Odell return. I'm not saying it's 100% going to happen, but they might be banged up enough where we could see something like that. We'll see. But John, thank you for the 5. Jags game. Announcers calling get right game in London for the Jags. How embarrassing. We should be better than we look. I mean, I don't know if anything's a get right game in London. You never know what London's going to be. You never know what we're going to see, I don't know. Not sure how to feel. Jags are a good team, but I think they're going to drop another game. I think they lose to the Rams. But that game could be weird. Matthew, thank you for the 5. On the red zone thing, it isn't just about the play call, but about the execution. Also, got to have both. I agree completely. I didn't really like the play call. The play calling in the red zone, for the most part. I didn't like that one drive where, like, they're in the red zone and they end up settling. Like, Stafford takes the sack. I don't think they handed it off once to Kyron Williams. I don't know what they're doing there. I think they're trying to get too cute, and it's really kind of throwing them off. SoCal, thank you for the 5. I know this team got a W, but they didn't win because of their scoring points. They're not gelling on offense, and McVay red zone is horrible. Yeah, it's weird because the offense moved the ball pretty well, just like they did last game, and they're just having a hard time punching it in. They're making stupid mistakes. So the drops, I think, really kind of covered up what could have been an absolute blowout. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you that has to improve. Tommy, again, I think Chase Blackburn should be fired. Yeah, I mean, you might have an argument there. My thing is, I don't know what they would do there. I don't know who they bring in, whatever. Mid-season, it's tough, but yeah, it might actually be something they might have to address. SoCal, thank you for the 5. McVay on the final play is so conservative. Why not ice the game instead of weak runs up the middle? Yeah, I mean, luckily he didn't do that against the Texans, which I like. But I tend to agree. I would like to see him kind of air it out a little bit and be a little bit more aggressive. Vic, thank you for the 2. Landman needs that contract extension. I am with you on that one. I don't want Landman going anywhere. I want him to just stay right here with the Rams. Fun to watch, man. Matthew, happy belated birthday, Jake. I appreciate that, Matthew. Thank you so much for the 5. Really do appreciate it. Zaylor Swift, thank you for the 2. Do you think the Rams will make trades during the bye? Not during the bye. I think there's still like 2 weeks before the trade deadline at that point, but I think they'll address something. I kind of feel like they are going to make a trade at the deadline. I just don't know how significant it'll be. But yeah. Zaylor's back at it with Hopkins would make a great wide receiver 3. Yeah, I mean, Hopkins just can't really play. He's like a big play threat. They don't really diversify his role. They kind of just throw it to him in those big play situations. They use him sparingly. They know he's getting up there in age. He can't like block. So it's probably similar to like what like OBJ would be, honestly. But yeah, I guess we'll see. If the Ravens keep losing, they'll be sellers at the deadline. Speaking of the deadline, talking about corners, corners stepped up today. They played really well. I was really surprised we didn't see AJ Green really at all. I mean, if we did, I missed it. He was on special teams. He was part of that scrum, but yeah, that was kind of a bummer. I thought we were going to get him. I didn't expect him to get called up and then just not play on the defensive side. I guess in this game with Zay Flowers being your biggest threat and he's 7. He's 5'9", like $175. I guess that's probably why. But, next week against, Brian Thomas Jr. and, I don't know. Maybe we see him next week. I don't know. But, yeah, I was bummed that we didn't get a chance to see him. I thought that would have been nice to see. SoCal with the 5. Red zone play calling is the worst in the league. They only score if it's a Kyron run in. Yeah. It feels that way. So that will have to improve for sure. But yeah, trust me, Zaylor Swift's profile picture gets me every time too. So I'm with you on that one. You think we see AJ Green in the Jags game? I guess we'll see. I'll watch the tape. I'll do my usual kind of like notes from the game. So don't worry about that. I'll post that video probably tomorrow or the next day. We got Downtown Rams on Monday. I got the NFC West Roundtable at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Rams time on the NFC West Roundtable channel. I got Off the Edge with Cameron Lynch picking Week 7's NFL games on Wednesday. That'll likely be at 5 p.m. Might be at 4 p.m. We're still trying to work that out. Yeah, and then I think we'll probably check in with Laquan, have him on. And then I'll need to find a Jaguars content creator. So if anybody knows anybody that covers the Jaguars, that would be a cool guest. Let me know. I've been slacking on that. I reached out, never heard back from any of the Ravens creators. I went on one of the Ravens podcasts. My friend Ken McCusick, who does a really nice job. But yeah, and then we'll have the game bright and early, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Rams Jaguars, and then the bye. And I'll be at a wedding on the Sunday that day, so I won't be doing anything on the following Sunday. So that is it. I'll have plenty of content throughout the week. Sean Dolak highlights probably, highlighting some of the game film, talking about him, talking about Nate Landman. Man, what ballers the Rams have on this defense. I mean, seriously. So yeah, bummer as far as the offense didn't really get going the way you would have liked, but a win is a win is a win is a win, and we'll take that all day. We'll see if the Buccaneers end up holding on to this game. Or apparently they're losing 10-7 now. They are driving down the field. So we'll see what ends up coming of this. I picked the Buccaneers to win 31-30. I don't know where I feel right now. I haven't watched the game yet. They do have a 61.1% win probability. That's worth mentioning right now, according to ESPN. So that's something to consider there. And looks like the Titans are losing 10-0. That's a bizarre thing. I forget what happened. I guess Cam Ward is playing. I was told he got concussed before the game. I don't even know what's going on there. Weird game. Joe Flacco is trying to beat the Packers. He'd be the first quarterback to ever beat the same team with two different teams in the same season. Flacco and the Browns beat the Packers earlier in the year, and now Flacco's trying to beat the Packers on the Bengals. So that's interesting. Everything else is done. And then we have Detroit tonight against Kansas City. And what's the Monday night game? Oh, we got the doubleheader on Monday night for God knows why. I hate it. I wish they'd get rid of it. Buffalo and Atlanta, and then Chicago and Washington. So obviously, Rams fans, you're rooting for the Buffalo Bills over the Falcons. Get that pick to be bad, or to be good. Get the Falcons to be bad. It's just 1 year. Then you can root for the Falcons again if you want to. But yeah, I guess we'll find out. It's 3-1 right now. San Francisco 17. Tampa's trying to score. They're in the red area. Their win probability just went up to 64.2%. So they just got the first down. Rashad White. Now they're at the 13. But before I wrap it, just a quick word here. Shout out to the sponsor of this channel that has just been awesome. I use Sleeper all the time for fantasy football and so forth. So daily fantasy, get in on the action. If you haven't taken advantage of that $20 entry, you definitely need to. No deposit required. So if you're brand new to Sleeper, you can get in on that. Be sure to use code JKB for a $100 match, 100% match up to $100. Highly recommend it. I always say this. If you are watching a Sunday Night Football game and you're having a hard time figuring out who to root for, whatever, you want to get some skin in the game, well, you can do that. Daily fantasy, Sleeper, say tonight you want to root for the Chiefs because you find the Lions to be annoying or vice versa. You can be like, Kareem Hunt, I'm going to take more on the yards total, right? More rushing yards. I'm going to take Travis Kelce touchdown, right? Chris Jones sack. Like, these are things that you can do. So be sure to check that out. Looks like the Bucs just scored a touchdown, so I can end this stream knowing that as I end it, the Buccaneers are beating the 49ers. But again, be sure to check out Sleeper. Link is in the description below. Code is JKB. And that's going to do it. It's Syracuse's own Sean Tucker running it in. That's Cameron Lynch's guy. But that's going to do it. Appreciate you guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff. Thank you so much. It's been a fun birthday weekend. I know we don't really do that anymore. That's something I did when I was younger, but I'm still getting birthday wishes. So as far as I'm concerned, it's the birthday weekend. Rams come through. I've had fun talking with you, and yeah, I'll see you guys throughout the week. So be sure to share this channel with any Rams fan that you think would be interested. We're still, I keep forgetting, by the way, because I've been so busy and everything, but I'm still giving away that Rams jersey. So if you're subscribed, you're in. You don't have to worry about it. If you're not subscribed, yeah. Anyway, that's it. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see Rams Jags next week. Later, y'all.